Hey, video diary. Can you hear that? Can you see that? That's the jazz concerts that are going on outside of my hotel. I'm in Munich. Tomorrow is Father's Day, and I just wanted to make an entry because things have changed in the sense that I am just in a different headspace. I sometimes don't know if it's better or worse. It's just different, you know. I know it was very bad being super depressed to an extent that I felt the meaninglessness of everything. You know, I just felt you could equally weigh the experience of being here with the experience of not being here and arrive at the same ultimate value. That really sucks because I used to tell my son the universe has been like we added love to the universe, you know, and that can never go away. I used to tell him that. I don't know if I believe it anymore. Like the love that I had with my son. It doesn't feel like it mattered. I guess that's a good way to say it. Ultimately, if he couldn't survive, or maybe it was because he died and didn't survive the way he did, the way that happened makes me feel like it negated everything. These are young players that are playing out here. A couple of guys from Germany, kicking ass. A couple of kids from Mongolia, 19, 20, kicking ass. And I think of my own son, like why do these, you know, and why didn't he? You know, when I hear other people do that shit, it annoys me. When I hear other people like, why, you know, I'm like, I'm already answering in my head to them in a way that I would never want them to hear because he was a fucking junkie and he would never have survived. That's what jumps in my mind. I feel really, it's not that I feel guilty, it's just that I notice that. And I'm unsympathetic. I've said that. And I'm sometimes even unsympathetic to myself and to Forrest. Like, how could somebody so young and strong with so much love and support kill himself or risk killing himself and accomplish it to get high on heroin? Anthony Bourdain and Kate Spade committed suicide, and I was discussing that with my wife, who was really upset because she had a lot of respect for both those people. And I asked her one day what was going on. You know, we've been here in Europe working very hard on music. Not the last few days, which we took to do this. I think I hear guitar. I'm gonna go hear him, whoever that is, or her, right? Oh, I was gonna make a point. I forgot. It doesn't matter what my point was. I'll look back on the video. Oh yeah, what was bothering my wife, and it was that those guys committed suicide when they were healthy, you know, and had kids, and we wanted to feel like, oh, sympathetic, what a terrible loss, they must have been suffering, but we were like left feeling with just a similar kind of what the fuck betrayal that we had with Forrest. Because they were healthy biologically, you know. I guess if you're so tortured as an individual that you gotta, you know, hang yourself or whatever. And I felt like, it isn't that I felt like killing myself, but I understood that you can make the case that it's not consequential to anything ultimately, and you'll be out of here and whatever. But I also felt that we all are offended. You know, we're always offended, you know, by people who destroy themselves. I'm reading Dizzy Gillespie's whatever book, not that he wrote it, but just where he fired Bird from the bandstand because Bird was shooting up in the bathroom. No, he fired Monk because Monk was perpetually late. But Bird was shooting up in the bathroom, and Monk walks off onto the stage because the bathroom is right there and says, he's shooting up. He's fucking shooting up right now. You know, he was disgusted with Charlie Parker. Because that was fucking bullshit. Even then. Especially always. So sometimes I wake up at the really early morning and I'm like, why am I so, you know, like hard in my feelings? I don't know if that's the word, but it's like there's something wrong. And now I know what it is. It's that my son killed himself with heroin, and so many people are doing the same. I saw a few junkies here. And there's so much beautiful life to live. So every, like, you know, mouth of food, or I just had a beer an hour ago at this freaking beautiful beer worshiping ceremony, and the sounds, the sights, and I'm like, I realized that my life was about raising my son. You know, it was like not that I wanted to, that was the greatest pleasure, and he took it away. And he didn't even tell me he was going to do it. And everything triple sucks, and it's like a dream. It's like he's not dead. He's somewhere. And it's like he never existed, all at the same time. I have to look at pictures, and it's like a knife in the heart, you know? And then you remember everything. You're like, oh my God, where are you? What are you doing? Where have you been? Do you remember me? And my trip is my trip. The trip I had with my son about healing myself and all that stuff. It wasn't him. It was me. He didn't have anything to do with it. And I don't like feeling like I didn't know him. But if this is too big of a thing, and maybe it's just what everybody, talks about on lockup, it's just drug addiction. And once you're in, you're fucked. You're dead. And that just makes me very despondent. It makes me very, very empty. And it's polemic, I'm saying something that may not be true. Maybe you're not. Maybe you're not fucked. Maybe you're not dead. Maybe you can quit heroin and live a normal life. And everyone's like, what's a normal life? You know what a normal life is. A normal life is working and feeling that you're earning your own money. It's taking care of yourself. It's having hygiene. It's bettering your life every day. It's educating yourself and not remaining ignorant like you were last year. It's about honoring your being. So I just, I understand it's hard, okay? It's hard, You have to choose junk or life, and you're going to choose junk. So my Father's Day is like, I don't think I'll make a video. It's not necessary. This will suffice. And I'm pissed. I'm really pissed and sad. And this is a trope, but it's a different, it's a different vibe right now. Because I really understand that, it had nothing to do with me either. And that upsets me also, because I thought Forrest might have considered me a little bit, since I was, funding his education, and this wasn't part of the deal. And he took my best friend, my son, my mirror, my teacher, my training partner, my student, my family, my daughter's brother, his mother's son. And I've been thinking, have I ever forgiven my father? And he was an asshole. I mean, I don't feel like I'm held back by it to say, it's not my place to forgive somebody for being that way. I don't know if I can forgive Forrest for being a heroin user, because then I feel like I give shadow or shade to anybody else who's like, oh, poor me, I'm going to use heroin. And I just want to say, fuck you, asshole. Whoever you are, 20-year-old girl, 50-year-old man, fuck you. Idiot. Loser. And I mean that in the purest sense. You lose all of this, all of the fathers and sons and daughters and mothers that I've been just watching, enjoying each other. Yeah, and if it, I don't know. I guess I'm back to partially it's really the junkie's responsibility not to do it. But, these people's testimony, on these, prison shows, they can't stop it. They can't help it. And I don't know if I can just be like, oh, okay. I know I'm going to be looking at this and working through it and trying to find some truth value to it. But it may end up with just a question or just an answer that's just not that satisfying, that you just get what you get, you make what you make, and that we can't blame ourselves for things that we can't control, which is what I was doing. But this has made me miserable in a place, in a piece of me that is at the center of my being. And I feel like the loser. The fucking loser. The person who did not succeed as hard as he tried. It just, at least in regards to my son, you know.